The Battle of Hattin is one of the most prominent and important battles that took place during the Crusades, and it is a prominent triumphal battle in the history of the Middle East. This battle took place in the summer of 1187 between the Muslim army led by the Ayyubid commander Saladin and the Crusader army led by King Guillaume IV, in the Hattin region near the city of Tiberias in Palestine. The Battle of Hattin was a decisive turning point in the struggle between Muslims and Crusaders over control of the Holy Land. After years of conflict and tension between the two sides, Saladin decided to implement a targeted military campaign to restore the city of Jerusalem, which had been under the control of the Crusaders since the first campaign of the Crusaders. Saladin was able to unify and organize his diverse forces, and had careful planning for the attack on the Crusader army. While the Crusader army was composed of disparate factions and suffered from a shortage of supplies. On July 4, 1187, the battle took place between the two sides. The battle was distinguished by the courage of the fighters on both sides and the good tactics followed by Saladin. The Muslims skillfully used cavalry units to break the Crusaders' formations, which led to chaos and confusion in the ranks of the Crusader army. After an intense battle that lasted a whole day, the ranks of the Crusader army collapsed and they withdrew, fleeing from the battlefield. This major victory for Saladin was key to the recovery of many holy cities and regions that had been under the control of the Crusaders, including Jerusalem. The Battle of Hattin had a major impact on the course of events in the Crusades, as it strengthened Saladin's influence in the region and paved the way for the recovery of Jerusalem. This battle is an example of the role of military tactics and effective leadership in determining the course of Middle Eastern history and the conduct of the Crusades. The Battle of Hattin, a turning point in the Crusades conflict. The Battle of Hattin is considered one of the most important historical stations in the context of the Crusades, as this battle embodied an epic struggle between the Muslim and Crusader forces on the land of Palestine, and it greatly influenced the context of the conflict over the Holy Lands. Time and place. The Battle of Hattin took place in the summer of 1187 in the Hattin region near the city of Tiberias in Palestine. After years of escalation between the Muslims led by Saladin al-Ayyubi and the Crusaders who were occupying the Holy Lands, this battle came to decide the fate of the region. The conflicting parties on the Crusaders' side, the Crusader army was led by King Guillaume IV, whose forces gathered from various European kingdoms. On the Muslim side, the Ayyubid leader Saladin was confronting these challenges, and he succeeded in uniting the masses of Muslims under the banner of jihad. Course of events. The battle began on July 4, 1187. With Saladin implementing precise tactics to achieve victory. His forces used new tactics, including exploiting the ground and sacrificing some units, to put pressure on the ranks of the Crusaders. Battle details. The battle began in the early morning hours, and witnessed heated confrontations between the two sides. The Muslims skillfully used cavalry units to break the Crusaders' formations, which led to pandemonium in the ranks of the Crusader army. The battle continued throughout the day, and witnessed a violent exchange of attacks and defenses. Results and impact. After a day of bitter battles, the ranks of the Crusader army collapsed and they withdrew from the battlefield, resulting in the Muslims winning a major victory. This victory for Saladin in the Battle of Hattin was decisive, as it contributed to the recovery of Jerusalem and other holy cities from the grip of the Crusaders. The legacy. The Battle of Hattin became a turning point in the history of the Middle East and the Crusades, as it strengthened Saladin's influence and enabled him to achieve unification and organization of Muslims in the region. It also inspired many commanders and armies in later eras, and reminds of the importance of precise military planning and effective leadership in achieving victories. Conclusion. The Battle of Hattin remains engraved in the memory of history, as one of the most important battles that shaped the course of events in the Middle East. A lesson in challenges and successes on the battlefield, highlighting the impact of leadership and tactics in changing the course of history.